Get ready for a no BS approach to health and fitness. This is NBS Fitness Radio.
What's up? Welcome back to NBS Fitness Radio. I am here with my two good friends, Jessie and Michael Pickett. Jessie and Michael have been members at NBS now 3 years, with a brief stint in Florida. They have two children, Becca and Mikey. And how old are Becca and Mikey?
Becca is 8 and Mikey is 4.
Awesome. And so our topic for today is just family fitness, the value of fitness and why it's important, how you implement it, all that. But first, kind of give me your individual backgrounds in fitness, the short version of like when you started, and just kind of give me your story. So let's start with you, Jessie.
All right. Well, I've always grown up into fitness of some sort. I danced, I rode horses, played soccer growing up, but really got more serious in college.
Okay.
Started just kind of doing my own thing at the college campus gym, lifting weights, getting into that, and then got really more zoned in on it after having Becca, after becoming a mother. Really,
How old were you when you had Becca?
I was 25.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So had her, and that is when we really realized how important it was for us individually and us as a couple and us as a family.
Well, what was it about having your first child that kind of triggered that?
Well, as a woman, we have to bear the children and deliver the children. And so I wanted to get back into shape.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my original goal, was to get my pre-baby body back.
Yeah.
And in that process of having kind of that short-term goal, or I guess you would consider that a little, maybe a superficial goal, developed just my love for fitness.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it became to where it wasn't, am I going to work out this week, or am I going to get my fitness in? It slowly transitioned for both of us into, no, we are.
What else are we going to give up to
Right.
make this happen?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And
What is not
only,
important.
right. Yeah. I mean, we started changing our priorities. We started seeing things differently. So from there, we started training together, and that was a lot of fun. And we developed a lot of similarities and fun times through that.
I think at first we started like a lot of outdoor stuff, like running. And, I grew up playing soccer.
Okay.
And I wrestled, but I'm tall and lengthy. So running was always in my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
we started doing that with the goal of kind of like 5Ks and, eventually working up to some bigger races. And then we got to a half marathon. And I think we're good with that.
Yeah.
But
that was good.
But when Becca came about, we still continued to run, but we
So y'all were doing the running stuff together. Before Becca.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we just loved it, just being outside. And our schedules were such that as nurses, we worked 3 12-hour shifts, and we could, we had 2 days off during the week, and we just fell in love with it. And the high you get from running, and just like, how far can I go and how fast can I go? And the only thing holding me back from doing more is my mind.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can do with this, and had a lot of fun with it. But I think both of us at some point were like, because I also grew up just lifting weights just for fun or whatever, and we decided, like, hey, let's, we've got Becca here. It's hot outside all the time. Like, let's go check out the Y. They have daycare.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that was like the beginning of it all, I think, for us, like really like making lifting and kind of iron sport, I guess, if you will, like part of our wheelhouse.
Yeah. And it was fun too when we were running and we started incorporating Becca into it. We would each go out at the same time and then take turns pushing the stroller.
Yeah.
And he was a lot better at it than I was. So he would push her longer, but we would
We had a good stroller to help out there. That thing could go on the trails with that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it all started.
Very cool. Yeah, I've realized like pushing the baby in the stroller is like, oh, this is fun. This is like a little challenge. And then when you have like your 35-pound toddler, you're like, you're a heavy dude. And we got the 2. You're like, nope,
No,
we're not running.
You can't turn the wheel.
No.
You're like,
It like really slows your pace down when you're pushing 60 pounds.
which, I looked at it as like, hey, this is a challenge. It's just more weight to run with. So good stuff.
Quite the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Especially uphill.
So, how did you see the change in yourselves, maybe physically, mentally, and even kind of in some of your like family dynamics when you started implementing those, when you started training a little bit more? Like, how did you see that kind of play out in your daily lives?
I really think that it just was a slow process.
Mm-hmm.
You sometimes don't even know that change is occurring until it's occurred. But we started developing just more energy.
Yeah.
We had more energy for each other, for Becca, and then Mikey came along, and that was a huge game changer for us, having a second child. Michael was in school getting his doctorate in CRNA, and so we needed the energy. We needed energy to continue to date one another and to invest in each other as a couple, but also be there for our kids. And fitness provided that. And there was no denying that fitness was, what
drove that,
what created that for us.
And it's funny because I think like had I started school and we wouldn't been in or had that mindset, it could have been completely different, because when school started, it was like zero time for anything else. And pretty much hanging out with friends and stuff like that kind of went out the window. And had we not built that base to start off with, we might be in a completely different situation.
Were you able to train, through school and everything still?
Yeah, a little bit. I can't remember how it all went down. I think at the beginning of school, when things were a little nerve-wracking and timing was an issue, I think it was kind of like, all right, when I get home from the library or whatever from school, we'll eat, we'll put the kids down, and then I'm going to go on a 3-mile run.
Yeah,
just something.
23 minutes, just get my heart rate up.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I felt more comfortable with school and the time, that I had available for it. So I would start to go to the gym, because I was like, it definitely get you pretty tired, if you're, especially that mental capacity I'm using for school.
Yeah.
And then also lifting heavy and stuff like that. But we made it work. So.
Yeah. And since we had already developed a deep understanding of knowing fitness was part of our lives before he started school, we saw each other very little as it was. But when he said, I need to get out, I need to go run, or I need to, do something, I already understood it.
Yeah.
We weren't learning that in the process of him also being in this very demanding program.
Yeah.
And I think that developed a really secure, connection between us by him saying, I need this, and I understood it.
Yeah.
A deeper connection.
Yeah.
And that was great too for you, because when I wasn't around, it was like, she had nothing to do to like focus on, or, just to get her energy out, because she had, of course, the kids were in daycare, or Becca was at first, because Mikey wasn't born yet, but she needed something, and having that as an outlet, she just really just dove straight in and was like looking up workouts and just making it a huge part of her day to day.
Yeah.
And I love fitness for that too.
Yeah.
Because when I wasn't available, unfortunately, she still had a way to find happiness, and we could share those.
Something to work towards, and
Absolutely.
something to kind of get better at, and like,
she would send me pictures, like, when I was in clinical, and like, I did this, or a new PR, here's my squat. And I was like, yeah, go baby. That's awesome. So definitely.
Yeah, I think when I think about what are the biggest impacts fitness have, like on the family dynamics, it's one, energy. Like we have 3 kids, both of us work full time, and there's no way we could do all of that at an appropriate level if we had a body that wasn't functioning fully.
Right.
There's no way we could give our all at work and be in the right mindset, have energy all day to do what we do to the passion we have it for, and then be able to also come home and have energy to play with our kids, especially little kids that require you to play with them.
Yeah.
And so some of them, I'm like, I don't know how the hell anyone who's not fit engages with toddlers at the end of the day.
I don't know how they find the time and the energy, you know, and we're both like, I'm like, what are we doing tonight? Like, we're going outside. Like, that's what we're definitely doing something. And Jesse's right there with me, right on board with it. Like, we'll go to the pool. We're going to go kick the ball around. We're doing something. The kids will come out in the garage, and I'll be like, hey, work on this. She'll be getting them hang from the rings. Like, we're doing something.
Yeah. That's like we usually get home. We have 2.5 to 3 hours with our kids at the end of the day. And I think if you didn't have that energy, you would get home and you'd be exhausted, and you'd be like, the only thing I have the time to, or the energy to do, is sit on the couch, turn on the TV.
Yeah.
And either your kids are going to engage with that with you, or they're going to disengage and go do something else. Either way, that's not good. Like,
we really try to fight against, screens.
Yep.
I mean, as much as we can. We obviously,
of course,
the kids,
we're realistic.
Yeah. But we make it a point at night to get out, do something together as a family, and having the energy to do so is huge, especially for toddlerhood.
There's so many like special, like silly, fun experiences come out of just getting out there and just doing something. Like, it doesn't even matter. We'll come up with some joke about something, or the other day, you were kicking the soccer ball and you lost your balance, and, little stupid little things that wouldn't have happened otherwise if we were all just sitting on the couch watching Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah.
So I think we're very appreciative of fitness for what that has brought to our family.
Yeah.
And like being able to share moments together that are seemingly not so special, but after the fact, it feels very special.
I think the energy aspect is huge. And the other one I think is the stress relief, meaning like the training I go through every day is an opportunity for me to kind of shut everything off. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about family. I'm not thinking about anything but this workout, right? And it's a kind of good opportunity to release some of that stress, release some of that energy, so that that when I am home, one, because I've stewarded my body properly, I've got the energy, but I've also not got this built up stress. So my kids are going to do something that's going to frustrate me. I'm able to have a barrier of awareness and control, so that I don't do something that ultimately is negatively impacting to them and our relationship. Meaning, for example, I can have a calm conversation with them and say, "Hey, we're not going to do that. If you do that again, you're going to go to timeout." But I don't snap on them.
Right.
I can parent them and discipline them, but it gives me the control in those moments of stress to still be able to think, to not let an emotion overwhelm me. And like, that's a big thing for me, like with our kids, is like, everyone's got their own rules, but our rules are basically, if we tell you once and you don't do it, like the same is going to be, hey, if you don't do X, Y, Z, you're going to go timeout.
Right.
And if it's still done again, it's a spanking.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But in those, like last night, the kids tore up like 5 books, just tore the pages out of them. I was like, that's a spanking.
Straight to the spanking. There's no
time. But the conversation is, James, you're going to get a spanking. I'm going to spank you 3 times. Mm-hmm. But it's not me like being frustrated. Like, how did you do this? And screaming. It's it's giving me the ability to be calm and let them know, like, you did something wrong, and part of that is being punished for that. But I'm doing it in a loving way that's meant to guide you and not hurt you.
Right.
So it's like I can have that conversation with them without my voice raising or any of that kind of stuff. So I think that's a huge impact on that fitness has on the family dynamics, that some people don't appreciate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I went through the same scenario the other day with Mikey. He finally had to get his spanking.
Yep.
And it was like it was done, and then sat down with him, and he tried to be tough, and that's good too.
Yeah.
But then he started crying.
Yeah.
And of course it breaks my heart, but it wasn't out of anger.
Yeah.
It wasn't of course it was frustrating. I don't want to do it anyways as it is. But I mean, I think there's so many times now that I'm able to just take a step back and be like, what do I want from the situation? What's the most productive way I can make it occur? And what I want that's best for my children. And I think we both obviously want that. And your first initial response is just to kind of freak out.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Like not being as stressed, having that calmness, that focus in the moment that fitness has brought to us has helped a lot with our parenting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think of workouts where you're like, it's a hard output workout.
Right.
And your first thought is freak out, quit.
Yeah.
This is hard.
I
want to escape from this, whatever. But like the ability to have doing that on a daily basis and being able to kind of like have that thought and then also have the cognitive awareness to say like, that's not an appropriate thought. Put that away. I'm aware of how I feel, but I can shift my mind and say, but my actions are not going to reflect that feeling.
Right.
And that's a benefit that I can take into my family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of interconnections amongst fitness and how you portray yourself outside of the gym. And it, I think, primarily boils down to you learn a lot of who you are, truly who you are, and you learn how to discipline yourself in fitness. And by doing that, you learn how to discipline yourself in all aspects, how to control your tongue, how to control your tone, how to not act out of anger, but to act out of, because I love you. We do need to talk about this. You might need to get punished for this, but I am not doing it out of anger. And kids pick up on that so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Becca and Mikey are significantly more upset when I act out of anger versus
they don't get any
teaching
better.
them. And it doesn't
It's just
actually teach
repeated.
them. They just get upset.
Yeah.
So
They're emotional because you're emotional.
They're blocked. There's
Yeah.
a barrier. They're not even hearing or understanding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so your point is completely lost.
Yeah.
yeah.
What has been some of the communication that you've had to your kids about fitness or health or even maybe like nutrition, the foods you eat? Like how have you guys said like, this is who we are and this is what we do to your kids?
Yeah. Well, so Becca, she's in second grade and she sees kids in her class and what they bring to school for snacks and lunches. And she comes home and tells me like, one of my friends in school, she eats this, why don't we eat that? And, I don't want to put any judgment on other people because I don't know other people's situations, but there are certain things that we just know from an early age. Just because our kids are kids doesn't mean that they have all of the access and the right to these junky foods, and I want to teach them early, like, no, what you're putting in your body is fueling you for the day. And this is how you get your energy. This is how, you control your emotions, and it affects everything. It affects your sleep, and Becca, now that she's getting older, she's starting to pick up on that significantly more.
What did she say? Like, what's her response been?
She's responded great.
She is good. I mean, we used to have to struggle a little bit with her about eating her vegetables and stuff, but like she eats what we cook her. And that's amazing. And then, I mean, there are times when I'm like, I'm the bad culprit here. And I'm like, hey, you want a cookie? And she's like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, what kid says no to a cookie? And Mikey's the same way with cake. Now he's got a different problem with gummies, but yeah. And it's so crazy to think about too, because I didn't have any of this growing up. And to say that, like, I mean, I'm still learning, of course, as we all are. But to say that here I am, almost 39 years old, and maybe in the past decade, I've started to understand a lot more about like why food even exists and fitness and what it does for us. But she's what 30, 20, no, I guess 20 years up on me now because she's getting this exposure where we're like, hey, that's not good. It doesn't do anything good for you. It's a waste. Like it's okay to have sometimes, but we're not doing it every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just awesome. That I think it's something that's going to stick with them.
Yeah.
Or we're going to die trying.
Yeah.
What are some of the give me some examples of how you've implemented like healthy nutritional foods into your kids' lives over the years?
Well, we just like for breakfast, we always have some kind of healthier carb, protein and fruit.
Okay.
And that to both kids is what breakfast is.
Yeah.
They don't think of breakfast as cinnamon rolls and waffles and things.
You
know?
define it for them.
Yeah.
And then they don't know any different.
They don't know.
What are some healthy carbs and proteins that you would introduce at breakfast?
Yeah. So, I started myself eating a higher nutrient dense oatmeal.
Okay.
So I try to, anything I make for myself, I have them try.
Gotcha.
I say you don't have to like it and you don't have to eat it forever, but I want you to at least try it.
Yep.
And they're very open to that, which has been great because, that's an area where Michael and I get a little frustrated where we're like, you don't even want to try it, and
like,
then
it's green. I'm like, so what? Green's a pretty cool color. Like,
yeah, right.
Taste it.
And so we try different, like healthier cereals, oatmeals. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that we do right now. We always have fruit. Mikey is our fruit eater.
Yeah.
You have like just sitting around or like just sliced fruit where they can just grab it. On it.
Yeah. So I normally have a variety of fruit in the house and let them pick. Yeah. Again, variety is huge. because kids too, they want this and then they get burned out and they don't want it ever again.
Right.
And you never know when that switch is going to happen.
Yeah.
So I try to give them something different every day.
Okay.
Maybe keep a cycle of 3 different food options for each category. So we typically do like an organic pork sausage link.
Okay.
That has, really good fat contents, pretty low, and the kids really like it. And then Mikey particularly really likes egg whites.
Okay.
And getting that boy to eat protein is it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just try to keep it a constant variety, and just say, hey, you don't have to have it. We're I'm not huge on the clean plate club in our house. I don't want them to feel like they have to force the food down, but I want them to have a healthy relationship with food and try it. That's our biggest thing.
And I think the kids don't know any better. So like if they're eating nutrient dense food, I think they're intuitive eaters. If they're just eating junk, then they're never going to be satisfied. So like if you've eaten a good amount and you feel like you're good, like so be it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force it on you, but you're not getting anything later.
Yeah.
Because I know that trick.
Yeah. You full? Yeah. You want some ice cream? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can I have some?
Yeah. I don't want anything but broccoli.
Yeah.
Like I have plenty of room for ice cream.
I'll put your broccoli in your ice cream if you want.
I get, was there a certain age, I guess, where they started to, like Rebecca maybe started becoming a little more open to some of that? 'Cause I think it's very abnormal for any parent to not deal with some food
Aversions
in their kids. It's just like even us as people who are fitness oriented, like we still have kids who don't want to eat the healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know if I could pinpoint a specific age, but as Becca got older, she definitely got more aware.
Yeah.
And she also, being a girl, has picked up on body image very early. Kids talk about it at school. She sees things on TV. And so she's like, I want to wear the cute outfits, which just breaks my heart because she's 8.
Yeah.
But that's
she shouldn't
reality.
even be having
How do you communicate that? Like, how have you communicated healthy body image to your daughter? I think that's it's one of those like tough areas where it's like, hey, like, not that body image is important, but like your body's gonna be a reflection of how you treat it. So treating it well will make it look a certain way, and that is important.
Yeah.
I mean, to say it's not important would be a lie, but at the same time, you don't want your daughter focused in on her appearance only.
Yes.
So, like, how have you managed that communication and the direction with her?
Yeah, it's a fine line on trying to figure out the right words to say. Because no, I don't want her to be focused on her body image, but I do want her to be focused on her health.
Yeah.
And so we just always circle it back to that.
Yeah.
Like she asks, how can I get my stomach flatter or something like that? And we just say, right now the biggest focus, because you're growing, is that you eat healthy, we stay active, we want to drink lots of water, sleeping well. We just always bring it back to the pillars of health, which is going to be eating the good foods. And if she wants to have some snack foods or some junk foods occasionally, okay, yeah, she's a kid, and we're okay with that as long as it's moderated,
And we communicate, like, with me being in healthcare, both of us having a background in it, like, hey, if you focus inward, outward will present itself. If you focus outward, the inward may not look the same.
Yeah.
And so if you just focus on the important matters, then all those other things will come. And you're 8, you're going to grow. She's like 5 feet tall.
What's her response like when you're say something like that?
She understands, I feel like. Jessie's has been around more and present more, obviously, for her day-to-day than I have been in recent years with my requirements from work. But she seems to be really open.
Yeah, because we don't hush it.
Yeah.
We talk about it.
Yeah.
She wants to know, we're going to talk about it, and I try to bring to her attention, like, I know you want to look good. We all want to look good, but the more important thing is that we feel good and that we respect ourselves and we eat the right foods and we stay active. I mean, that's what she needs to know as an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
She needs to just be active and moving around and playing and eating healthy stuff,
That somewhat just like trips me out because I have a 1-year-old daughter, and I'm like, oh my gosh, at 8 years old, she's asking about her stomach. Where are those influences coming from?
I mean, primarily I would say school and then TV.
Okay.
Yeah. Because kids, her classmates, a lot of them have older siblings.
Yeah.
So they get exposed to things. Now, Becca's the oldest kid in our family.
Right.
So she doesn't get exposed to those, but
she gets it from school.
She does.
Yeah.
Or her TV shows or something like that.
Oh, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I know. It's sad because you're like, wow, you're supposed to be a kid. You're supposed to be out like playing with chalk and kites and things. And she's in here worried about her tummy.
Yeah. Well, like how it shift to exercise and like how your kids have responded to like y'all exercising. Because you'll bring your kids to the gym. You obviously have a home gym as well. So like they're witnessing you exercise, and like what's their response been?
Man, it's funny, like, because this even started a long time ago as well, where at the Y, when it was just Becca and us, and she would go to the daycare, and then afterwards she'd be like, mommy, I want to go work out.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay. Like, for real? Like, okay, all right, come on out here. And, I don't know if that was supposed to be done with like a 5-year-old, but whatever. Nobody ever said anything. So, we go out there and like grab some little 2.5-pound things and just do some stuff with her. And I don't know, she just really seemed to like, she wanted to kind of emulate what we were doing. And that's, they just want to please us.
Yeah.
And that's such a special relationship to have with your child. And so then it's my duty to show them the good things, the things that are healthy for you, like the godly things, and so then from there we got a little kind of smaller home gym, and and I think she started joining in on that too.
Yeah.
And now we have Mikey, and he's like, I'm like, hey Mikey, like even yesterday, I chose to work out at home instead of going to the gym. And I was like, you coming out here? He's like, oh yeah, And he runs out there and he's like, I want to work out with you, Dad. And I was like, awesome. You know, and that's just like, I mean, of course he can't do much, but he's the desire's there. The desire to please me is there.
And the exposure,
my desire to show him good, healthy, wholesome things is there. So it's a beautiful relationship. It's a full circle thing. And that exposure is this is just going to be normal for them.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want this to be normal and everything else to be abnormal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it should be normal.
And then what kind of activities do they do, like with y'all in the gym? Will you give them like a little workout to do? Like how do you approach that?
Yeah, especially with Becca, I sometimes create a little circuit training for her. So
she loves that. She loves the obstacle courses and stuff.
She does.
You know, so
yeah,
she loves the Ninja Warrior.
Bought a little a kid's barbell.
Okay.
And so we're teaching her in there back squat, front squat, thrusters. And we'll go through some kind of cycle of sit-ups or hanging leg raises or hanging knee raises.
Yeah.
Things that I know she can do, but still kind of test her muscles a little.
Yeah.
And what's the thing you started us doing?
Yeah. So recently our family rule is that every time we leave to go somewhere, we each have to go do 4 pull-ups.
Okay.
And of course, the kids can't do 4. No. He's strong. Like his grip, it's like pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He just jumps up and like, whoosh, and you're like, he won't let go. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So Mikey just swings on the rings.
Okay.
And Becca does ring rows. And we do
an equivalent.
Yeah.
Something related. So it's just something silly because I think sometimes we'd walk out there and just be like, do a few, and then she's like, we should do this every time.
Well, and it's funny because now we go out in the garage and Mikey's like, we got to do our exercise. And he just thinks that's normal, which I think is precious. But yeah, we'll just create little things that I know they're capable of doing. Mikey's little, and so but we'll still get him in there doing some squats. He knows what a burpee is.
Yeah.
He'll throw it down on the mat. He doesn't, he finds it to be a lot of fun.
His squat is perfect. Like his mobility.
Yeah.
Like you just keep that there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I was doing like a push-up thing every day, push-up sit up, and they would do push-up sit-ups with me as best they could.
Yeah. Right.
And they would be like, hey, Dad, it's push-up time. I'm like, it is, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then they'll go out in our gym, and I'll be like, hey, can you pick that kettlebell up and carry it over there? Or how many times can you pick up that kettlebell? The flip side is I'm like, please do not drop that on your toe, because they like to swing from the rings and all that kind of stuff. And I think like my mindset is like you said, I want to expose them to it and make them kind of be like, this is normal. The way I try to frame it is like, we're the Allens, and this is who we are, and this is what we do.
Nice.
So that like that's just how they know it to be, is like Allens do XYZ, so that's why I do XYZ, right? And then as they start to age and get a little bit more they can focus for a little bit, then I start being like, okay, why don't we see if we can do 10 of these?
Yeah.
See if we can do these 2 exercises combined.
Right.
So it's always like it's never a get your butt out there and exercise. It's like, hey, bud, like, you want to go do this with me? And it's a thing we experience like as a family.
Yeah. If you just left it, do you want to go do this? It would be no. But with me, they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, you've got to pair those two, because it's going to mesh eventually, where it's like, it's going to be like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
You're just going to want to do it. So.
Well, and, I joined MBS when Mikey was a year old. And so him being in a CrossFit style gym or, a group training setting like that is completely his norm.
Yeah.
I mean, Becca too, but he was 1 year old. And so hearing barbells falling and loud music and stuff to him is just,
that's normal.
It's another day. Yeah. And I love that. I think that that's great that they're not intimidated.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I came in this gym for my no sweat intro, I brought Becca with me.
Yeah.
And right up here in the front building, was a lot of the power lifters, and Becca was like, I don't think we're in the right place. And now she just walks in here.
Yeah.
No big deal,
and
this is normal for her, seeing,
A 300-pound guy with his shirt off, like
Yeah.
throwing around weights, she's like, whatever.
Yeah,
It doesn't
so
even take note of it.
Yeah,
No, and I think that that's good.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah. I think it makes me think of the K's kid who, I mean, they've been coming here 4-ish years, I would guess, maybe a little bit longer than that. But their son has been coming with them that entire time.
That's awesome.
And usually he is playing with his toys or go play on the playground or kind of doing whatever. But like now he's 6, so he's kind of getting that age where he's like, I kind of want to do what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
On Saturday he did the whole daggone workout.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a 21-minute wad.
Wow.
And he's like jumping on a 20-inch box and just kind of like,
Oh my God.
it makes you kind of be like, man, think of the leg up, the life that kid will have when from his earliest memories, he has always been exercising versus the person at 50 who's trying to start it for the first time in their life.
Right.
I mean, that's like, that's a immeasurable benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
so huge for him from a just life perspective, and it's just crazy.
And it goes even bigger, of course, like your family is priority, but, our society as well, is priority too. And the cost to society, so that I think there's a lot of responsibility around you as the individual being fit, and then us as parents being good stewards and trying to project these things onto our children so that they not forcefully, but so that they can make a choice and it hopefully be the right choice, I guess.
I think that's important when you're communicating that to the kids at a young age, where it is not just about how you look. It's like, this is what's necessary for you to be able to live, the best life possible for yourself. And then in doing so, that's going to impact that next outer circle, like your immediate family. The reason we do this is for our own individual benefit, but also so that we can be the best family possible.
Right.
And then it continues to go out. And then when we're the best family we can possibly be, and because we're stewarding our bodies well, then we can have better impacts on our community, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to have bigger impacts on our nation, so on and so forth. And then you're communicating these like larger, more noble foundations of fitness beyond just like six-pack abs. Look sexy.
What am I?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the priorities, since the kids have shown more interest as they get older, one of my main things that I think about is I want to present fitness to them as a enjoyable thing.
Right.
I think that our culture kind of creates fitness or working out as something you have to do for your health, something, you just got to go get done with. And if we could change that mindset at a child's level and them grow up thinking, no, I get to do this. Fitness is fun. I mean, how incredible would that be? Because then they're going to influence their friends. They're going to have confidence at PE and school and sports. And that's going to boost their confidence. That's going to boost how they talk to people. I mean, it's very interlaced in so many other things.
Someone asked me the other day with regards to the Ninja Gym about like how I felt opening up a business in like a society of like kids who are non-active. And I was like, kids don't have to be convinced to be active.
Yeah.
Like if you've been around any kid, activity and movement and exercise and play is just like innate within them. The sedentary life is taught to them.
Yes,
it's taught because
absolutely.
parents come home and they're too tired and they turn on the TV, and on Saturdays they watch football games while drinking beer, and they are demonstrating these activities and these lifestyles to their kids, and their kids just mimic them.
Yep.
But human movement, human play is innate within every single person. It's the opposite. That is this learned behavior. And that's like why I want to have the Ninja Gym, is because I want to create an opportunity where kids can come and play and learn to enjoy fitness, learn to see themselves make progress, to overcome these obstacles, and to make it part of a family fitness environment where they're saying like again, my parents work out, I work out, we do this together.
Yeah.
And they're seeing the benefits of it, and it's not this struggle of like you said, oh, I gotta go to the gym today. Like, I think people need to know that mindset is a poison in your head.
Yeah.
If you have the mindset that goes like, I don't want to go to the gym today, you have something wrong in your brain that
Right.
you need to fix right now.
Right.
You cannot wait. That is like a giant red flag that something's incorrect.
Right.
Now, the solution to that is to start going to the gym
Yeah.
and start exercising
It is.
and start feeling the benefits of it so that that shift will change. And
Right.
it goes back to like, not the, I gotta go to the gym today. It's like, I'm going to the gym today, like no matter what.
Yeah.
That's like, as important to me as breathing, eating, sleeping,
Right.
drinking water, because my body requires that for life.
Yeah.
Your body requires sleep, it requires water, it requires food, and it requires movement for life. And if you're not giving it that, your death's gonna be the result. So if you've got that mind or that voice in your head that says, I don't want to go to the gym, like that's death in your head. That's
Yeah.
poison. Like, get that out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we've like I said, over the years, I guess, and for the last several years has been like, this is priority, as it should be. It's not like I want to work out because, I want to like look good. Of course I do, but like, I'm like, no, I need this. And it doesn't have to be necessarily lifted weights. It can be something active, but you're absolutely right. The sedentary lifestyle, like I said, I work in healthcare every day. I'm like, all of this, that's a little
The vast majority
a broad
is
sweep there. A broad majority of these problems and these conditions are completely self-made.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line is you have to make it a priority. And I hate to say you have to make it, like it should be, you should want to.
Yeah.
It's like everything's so superficial and electronic and things like that it's hard to you're almost like you have a veil over your eyes where you can't really see the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost feeling like you've got to swim against stream, against the current to live a healthy lifestyle.
Oh, you do.
I mean, that's just the world we're in now, which is sad, but I mean, it's reality, and I mean, I have a lot of clients that ask me, how do you and your husband logistically get to the gym? Y'all both work, you have kids, like logistically, how do y'all both get to the gym and work out and have time for your kids and hone in on your nutrition, and it's a lot of practice.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not overnight.
No.
And you're not going to have the energy to do everything overnight either. But if you keep at it, you will.
Yeah.
And
small changes and consistency over time.
Right.
And as a couple, having the understanding and the grace, for one another. Because there's been times where he's like, I need to go to the gym. And I'm like, I haven't seen you all day,
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
things
vice
every
versa,
couple
yeah.
has, where I'm like, I haven't worked out yet. And he's like, but you just got home,
Yeah.
but it just comes with time and consistency and prioritizing it, bringing it into the family, making sure that we are all on the same page.
yeah.
And
not being so rigid.
yeah.
Like, so, okay, I kind of struggled with this for a while. It was like, I work out at whatever, and I've got these things I've got to do in my workout. And now I'm kind of like, okay, it's not really that important in the grand scheme of things for my goals, ultimate goals. And so we have to adjust stuff. And, people say, oh, how do you have the time? It's like, no, we don't. We not only like have the time for one workout, but we have like several. Like we do mobility in the morning. We work out our workout, like actual workout in the evening. And then we go on like a 2 or 3 mile walk at night.
Yeah.
And we still play with our kids, and we still eat good, and we're not completely exhausted.
Yeah.
But all of that is the result of consistency and fitness.
And building and adding a little bit, one little drop at a time to the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's when you said this is important to us, so this is our value, we're going to make it happen. Like the way I like to describe it is like, the result has already been determined. The problem has already been solved. Like I already know the end result of this, and it is this: we're going to exercise, we're going to eat right, we're going to eat, we're going to play with our kids. How we work through that may vary, and that may be the constant change. But we're never trying to solve the problem of are we going to. We're always trying to solve the problem of like how are we going to make it happen, and then.
There is no other answer. The answer is there.
Yeah, and so in doing so, like you've already determined that that's the end result. So now you're working towards a common problem that you can easily solve together, and you just have to now kind of play with that. And there's going to be ways that you kind of adjust, and it's going to be different for every season. But one of the benefits is like because that problem has already been solved, all the other stuff goes away. Because I'm the same way. I do 3 workouts a day. And people are like, how the crap do you run multiple businesses, have 3 kids, and work out 3 times a day? I go, it's really simple. There's 3 things that are important to me. You know, like the things that are important to me get done. Everything else gets completely eliminated. Like we don't watch any TV, 0. We occasionally might watch a TV show once a week, but almost always it's like even Friday night when it's we can sleep in on Saturday. It's Friday night. We do our mobility. And we hang out together, because we want to get that time together as a couple,
right?
And we don't get that time when we do watch a 2-hour movie, so, right. And then you just build the muscle. It's like it's very difficult on the front end because on the front end when you're trying to make that change, you don't have any of the habits in place. Right, you're still trying to solve the problem,
right?
And that's difficult to kind of work through, but. The way you get it done is because it's like you already know the end destination and you're just kind of hammering through it, and you're building that muscle and you've got the habits in place
and the support.
Yeah,
being like-minded. Like I couldn't imagine like not having an understanding, and still, or vice versa. Her like being super into it and me just wanting to sit down and drink beer once I get home from work. That
kind of creates issues.
And luckily, we've always been active together, and so it's never even been like a thing we've talked about. It's just been like it's just
more that way
every single time.
Yeah, it's like y'all have it's a family value,
right?
Yeah,
and
it's part of our life.
Who you are as the Picketts. It's a family value.
Faith, family, and fitness. And food,
all the alliteration.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
keep going.
Yeah. The other thing I find is it's like it kind of builds upon each other. Like, it's like how do you have the energy to do X, Y, Z, and do it all? It's because you do all that stuff,
right?
It's like because you do it all, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
And that is. It's like it's tough to get that ball rolling sometimes, but once it's rolling, it becomes like super easy.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not super rigid because it may be like I recognize at some point my kids are going to change schools and they go to school at a different time. Well, that's a solution. That's a thing we'll have to address as a family. Okay, now how are we going to shift our schedules to kind of make this happen?
Right.
But it's never this shift of like, all right, well, this season of our life, we're not going to exercise.
Well, and that's the funny thing is like that those conversations have already been discussed. We have the foresight because it's a priority to think like, hey, 2 years from now, when Becca is in whatever middle school or whatever it may be, or 4 years, like she's going to be there at like whatever time in the morning, like. And
School will start
then
earlier and different transportation.
Right. And she'll have practice or something, and Mikey will. It's like, all right, looks like I'm going to have to start waking up and working out in the morning when that time happens. It's just going to if I was
going to do.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think someone told this to me. They said, hey, recognize that kids in your house are only a quarter to 20% of your life. And I know it's sad, but like
more than that to me.
it's just them being in your house. And then marriage is typically about 2/3 of your life, and 1/3 of that is with kids. So like, you're still going to be married. You're going to spend more time together as a married couple than it is that you will have kids together as part of your family unit.
Right.
And kids as your family unit is only going to be a much smaller percentage of your entire life. And so it is like this. This is very important to me, and we're doing this as a family, but we're also setting foundations for everything else, because at some point my kids are going to not be here in my house, and they're going to have their own lives, and it's just going to be Jennifer and I.
Yeah.
And if I spend 20 years sacrificing my health and fitness to say like I'm prioritizing my kids, and people are like, oh, I can't go work out because I'm prioritizing my kids. It's like, well, at the backside of that, it's gonna be bad for your marriage, it's gonna be bad for your life,
right?
Like, and I try to encourage people to think generationally, because like what I'm trying to put in my kids now is like, again, we are the Allens. This is who we are. This is what we do, and I need that to play out 4 or 5 generations from now. Meaning, like, I want to be playing with my grandkids. I want my grandkids to have a granddad who throws a ball with them, that goes on slides with them, that goes hunting and fishing with them, and skis with them, and exercises with them, and ideally even my great-grandkids, if God allows that to happen. And so it's like, sometimes it can be overwhelming to get sucked into like the day-to-day scheduling, but sometimes you just need to have like a broader view and say like, hey, have a bigger picture of your life than just this weekly calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You just get bogged down with the day-to-day, and you just get in that rut, and you can't see yourself out of it, nor do you even know to see yourself out of it. And so that's having her, obviously is a big factor in making all this possible. And we even joke around about, what are we going to do when the kids are, grown up? And I'm like, well, we get to work out together like all the time.
Well, and it also helps us being like-minded in this, because there's days that I don't want to work out, or he doesn't want to work out, or our energy level dips, and and he's like, no, go on, I got the kids, go, and so he doesn't allow me to create an excuse, because we all have days, we don't feel that great or something, and so it's helpful to have each other to push one another. And also, I mean, we've kind of touched base on this, but one thing as far as the kids go is they are seeing that we are doing this together as a couple. And they're seeing that we're encouraging each other and we're there for each other. Yeah. And, Becca, she, he'll have a good workout and I'll go give him a kiss or something. And Becca's like, oh my goodness, don't do that. And I'm like, no, you should be happy that your parents love each other and are an encouraging unit together, and they're seeing that. They don't know what that means yet, but they're seeing it,
That's another normal we want for them, like that is abnormal. It seems like in most places, it's like, no, you want your mommy and daddy to be in love. You want that. And you're going to want that when you're a mommy or a daddy. So
I've never thought about what the difference would be, the different impact on kids would be between like watching a spousal couple support each other in their fitness journeys and like versus not. Like I like, you just kind of brought something to my attention and I never thought about it. Because I mean, we deal with it all the time, but a spouse won't support their won't support them either financially or schedule wise or emotionally, whatever bullshit reason that they won't support their wife and or support their spouse and like stewarding their body well and being healthy. But I'd never thought about what that might look like to the kids' perspective.
Yeah.
Everything we are trying to do, I mean, not everything, of course, but we are intentional with certain things, like sharing that, hugging or whatever, kissing or being supportive or just sacrificing or giving up my time for her and being vocal about it. Like, this is what you do.
and being excited for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like after the Open this past year, I guess got a little taste of Open magic and completed a skill I did not think I was going to get through. And he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
He counted my reps for me. He no-repped me a couple times.
Gotta play by the rules.
But when it was all said and done, I dropped that barbell and just jumped into a hug because I was so excited.
Yeah.
And the kids saw that, you know, and other people see that, you know, and we want to be that encouragement that like, this is fun, this is good, and this is good for us.
That's like one of the reasons I'll tell people, like, this is why you should do group fitness. I was ask people, like, how many high fives do you get on a daily basis? How many good jobs do you get told on a daily basis? And like most people, the answer is 0.
Yeah.
I was like, when's the last time someone high fives you, told you good job for something? And they're like, I can't think of one.
Like
I'm like,
10 years old when I,
yeah,
you know,
Boy Scouts.
my coach. Yeah.
yeah, and you're like, that is not good.
Right.
You know, can you imagine the difference in the mental deposits that you would get from being high fived, good job, I'm proud of you, that kind of like feedback that someone would get on a daily basis versus someone who never gets that.
Right.
And I can only imagine like how that would play out. And then when you take that to like the family aspect, it is imagine the impact it has on your kids for them to see mom and dad high-fiving each other, hugging, kissing, saying, good job, you did awesome, in part of a community. Like, imagine that impact versus the kid who never gets to see that, never sees their mom. I mean, I'm not saying like they may have fine marriage relationships, but never see mom, dad achieve things. Because to a kid, your physical achievements is somewhat of the only thing they can see. Like you getting a promotion at work is somewhat irrelevant to them. You know what I mean?
Like he's like, look how high I can jump. And that to him is like, he's, you know, his promotion, you know?
Yeah. So to see like your parents doing that, I imagine has a pretty profound mental and emotional impact on a kid.
Yeah.
And then also like in that family unit, like I imagine it solidifies that family unit. Like when you as a family are doing difficult things and having pursuits and reaching goals and congratulating each other and like being like, again, this is who we are and this is what we do. And I think that like, I can only imagine the impact that plays out over like a lifetime versus the kid who never sees that and is like now going into the world in their 20s and 30s and trying to navigate a world where success requires that. I mean, like that is just the reality.
And it goes the other way too. It's like, you know, if my kid has confidence because they've been given confidence and felt supported, they're gonna pay it forward, you know, for lack of a better word or phrase, and they're gonna impact other people.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like if you could like butterfly effect this thing out, you know, heck, I mean, and we want to be supportive. Yeah, we want to be. We're not like, this is what I got to do again. You know,
no. When someone tells you good job, that becomes like,
like
again, you're like, yeah, that felt good.
I like that.
That's cool. Like we do high fives and we say good job here.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to congratulate this person. Like
Yeah.
you're right. It plays out significantly down the road. You can even imagine like that in your children's marriages.
Right.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, which I think about often, you know. I mean, I know they're little now, but it'll come sooner than we think. And I want nothing but a doting and supportive and loving husband for Becca.
Yeah.
And a wife for Mikey that cherishes him and supports him, you know, and I already think about that.
Yeah.
Well, how are they going to find those people? They're going to base it off what they know.
That their standard is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I also have used, you know, I like that the kids have seen me push hard and sweat and sometimes even fail in the gym because I can use that as an example. Like, you know, when Becca fails something, when she doesn't do well at athletics of, you know, fill in the blank, I can be like, well, honey, you know what? When I first started, you know, doing back squat, I was awful at it, you know, and
Daddy still is.
And I practiced though. I didn't give
Yeah.
up. You know, the first time I picked up a barbell, I wasn't like, this isn't for me and left. No, I continued doing it. I showed up again. You know, there's days that I struggle and I fail, and there's days that I succeed and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And that is a process that you can learn. I just use fitness as the example because she sees it. You know, and
She
Mikey,
can relate.
Mikey
She
sees
can see
it, but
that.
he's still a little
He's
young.
young, yeah. But you know, when you're having those conversations, like, one, I think it comes off way more authentic.
Yeah.
Like when I hear someone who I know speaking from experience about something versus someone I know who isn't, especially when it's like with regards to a mental or like emotional
Yes.
way of dealing with something, I can like straight up be like, man, you are full of shit. I know that you don't live this out.
Yeah.
And I can hear it in your
Right.
voice. And
Mm-hmm.
the way that you're saying it, I know that as
Right.
you don't know what you're talking about. So, one, your voice is just more authentic
Mm-hmm.
and you can speak into it more clearly. But then, two, they see it in you and then they know. Yep. I know I've seen my mom struggle and suffer and fail a couple of times and
Yeah.
still get back underneath it and try it again. So, and then you can with confidence say like, hey, Becca, I know that was hard, but this is what this is who the Picketts are, and this is what we do.
Right.
We're not going to let that thing defeat us. Get back under there, try it again.
Yeah.
You got this. You know,
Absolutely.
and then they're like,
Okay.
okay, let's go do it. You know.
Yeah. When they can visualize the example,
Yeah.
you know, then I think that that's priceless.
100%.
You really can't put a measure to that. And, you know, there was even an example where Becca, she needed some additional tutoring at school, and she just felt like that was the end of the world for her. And I told her, I said, you know, I feel like I'm a pretty decent athlete.
Yeah.
You know, I can always improve. We can always improve, you know, but I said, do you think that I'm pretty good at doing what I do in the gym? And she was like, well, yeah, from what I know. And I said, yeah. And I still am going to a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I'm still going to get additional help.
Yeah.
Because I want to get excellent at it. I
Yeah.
said, that's exactly what tutoring is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's an area, I'm not saying you're not good at it, but if you have the opportunity to get additional help, wouldn't you take it? She was like, well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You get a free coach. Like, come on, take
come
it. Take it.
on. Yeah.
Well, that's something else to think about is like considering the impact of teaching your kids the benefit of coaches.
And,
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, like I have always had a problem, just maybe being a male in general, but like,
You had a problem being a male?
I'm gonna figure. Yes, this is my show to come out. But no, like doing everything myself, you know,
Yeah.
and it's been like, all right, like, and I still want to put the effort in because I get satisfaction out of that. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I need help.
Yeah.
I need help, and there are people that know how to do this better than me, and I will still do my part, but I'm going to ask for help when I need it, and that helps. They can see that, and you know, especially even with us,
Yeah.
you know, whether it be nutrition or like, hey, maybe my weight stalled or something, or like I can't do this, or I may need PT or whatever. You know, it's like, okay, like we supportive and we talk about those things, and we problem solve.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of things that fitness has like come full circle for us in our lives.
I think the way I'll describe it to my kids is a coach is part of the team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, we're always going to be able to achieve things faster, better, with less, struggles along the way. Like if we do it together as a team, and so like this coach is now part of this team that's designed to kind of help you.
Yeah.
The way I describe it to a lot of people is I say a coach is two things. It's a time machine. So
Yeah.
they're going to be able to apply knowledge and experience that you haven't achieved yet, and so you can either gained it. You can either take the time,
Yeah.
or you can get the next 6 years of experience and knowledge applied to you in the next 3 months. Like I'll take that, right?
Right.
And they're also an emotional filter. In other words, like you can't have objective thoughts about yourself. It's impossible. So
Yeah.
a coach can be objective about that and speak into that situation and kind of like, well, here's how your emotions are making you feel about XYZ. Now let me provide you some objective truth that now we as a team will decide what the next step is.
Yeah.
But I've kind of thought like I will probably not ever coach my kids.
They don't respond as well. And like we've seen that over and over again. You know, we were trying to teach Becca how to swim and it wasn't going well. And then granddad comes along and like
She can swim in like an hour.
Just doing what I'm like, we told her
The exact same things you told
Yeah,
me.
Yeah.
exactly. And then with some of your PT clients being children, like, oh, she did great and she listened so well. And it's like, it's because you're not her mom.
Yeah.
100%. Right.
Yeah, that's what it
100%. Yeah.
You're not related to her. That's why. But,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's definitely, it's a valid point.
It's like I want to be their dad first,
Yeah.
and not their coach. And I think that there's obviously like part of being a dad is being a coach, part of being a parent, coaching through that. But like I think
They need you support.
I don't want to be their main primary coach that's teaching them X, Y, Z. I think I can probably more be, hey, bud, like I'm going to support you by, like, especially in the gym, like. You're definitely going to go train with another coach in the gym.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what'd y'all do today? Oh, that's awesome, man. Like, if you have any questions, man, I'm happy to help. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus being like, someone else can tell your kid to work hard.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a better response to it than
Yeah.
just
And you
like
get
your
to
wife
cheer 'em on.
or your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to be there to cheer them on. You get to be what you,
get
want
to be
be.
the support.
I get to be the support
supporter.
system and say, hey, I'm proud of you. I love you. That was great.
Right.
Versus your technique was bad. And
Yeah.
we need to
This is
adjust
why
this
you
thing.
stink.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
well, cool.
connections are too close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too much emotion in there. And that, like I have good memories of my dad coaching me, but I also like he coached me in soccer. In hockey. And I remember it like it wasn't that he was a good coach. He did fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it's just different when it's your dad.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels a lot better when your dad's like, that was awesome, bud. I'm proud of you versus giving you those game after critiques.
Right. Can't
Yeah.
you just be happy for me, Dad? You know, like, you're like
Which
this
is-
is why you do.
Because like there's like it's good to compartmentalize things where it's like at the hockey rink I play hockey, and then when I'm back in the car I'm like in my family unit.
Right.
And like when that hockey game carries over into the car, then I feel like that becomes it can be like a bit of a muddy situation
Yeah.
for kids.
Yeah.
And so like if that family unit is supposed to be like super supportive, always stable place, then like I feel like it's usually a better situation where the dad is or the parent is not the coach,
Right.
And the parent says, "Hey man, that was awesome." Now a parent might say, "Hey bud, I think you could benefit from maybe going and doing some hidden lessons. Like I'd be happy to set that up for you. Like would you be interested in doing some hidden lessons?" Yep, cool. All right, awesome. I'll set it up. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Versus-
Be their supporter, be the connection, the liaison of what they need.
yeah.
That's the parent's role.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If the kid's like, it's like, hey man, that was a tough game. Like, 0-4. I was, sorry, bud. Like, how you feel about it? Man, hey, tell you what, if you want some hidden lessons, I'm happy. I love you either way, whether you perform well or not. But if you'd like to work on this to get better, get the tutor, I'm happy to kind of set that up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
all right, we got to
Absolutely.
wrap it up. Any final thoughts to send out to the parents out there?
Consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think to kind of sum it up, the overall idea here, to simplify it, is that we are the example to our kids, and what do we want for our children? We want them to be healthy. We want them to be in a supportive relationship as they get older. We want them to encourage others. We want them to have a boosted confidence. So we need to be that.
Yeah.
We don't need to just put them in front of a screen. We need to be playing with them, talking, investing in them. And by doing so, we need to invest in ourselves. and show self-worth in ourselves, and they will see that, and they will hopefully reciprocate and having self-worth in themselves. And all of that ties into fitness. We can't just individualize fitness over here in the corner. I mean, it plays a role and is sewn into every aspect that we play as parents, as athletes, as a couple, as coaches. We have to prioritize that, and we just have to think big picture. Yeah. And I think that that's overall, to simplify it, that's what we got to think about.
Love it.
Fitness is very fruitful. As you can tell, we could keep going and in so many more facets. Yeah. But it's worth the investment, and it doesn't have to be gung ho. It can just start off small, but the consistency that you develop will produce those fruits. Like, you will be happier. You will have more energy. You will learn how to be supportive. You will want to be supportive. You will yearn for this time together as a family. Like, it just comes out of it. So just, that's my big takeaway, is just to be consistent. Just start and lead by example, and people will follow.
Love it. All right, y'all. MBS Fitness Radio out.
Thank you for listening to NBS Fitness Radio. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to share it with your friends, follow us on social media, and check out our website at www.nbsfitness.net. Hit the subscribe button and tune in next time for more NBS Fitness Radio.